Hey, what's going on, everybody? Echo Side Fiend here, back once again. Finally, it's been what, 3 months since I've been up on here, and of course, my usual excuse is true as always. Work has been crazy, like it always is. It's not just all of a sudden; it's always crazy. I've been working just about all my Wednesdays off, which is nice because they actually upped the pay, the bonus pay for it. They upped it $75, so always looks nice on the paycheck. My days are getting a little bit longer. The sales guy out there is just crushing it, adding a lot of stops to my route, which makes me more money. Makes a little bit longer day too, but whatever. I've been training guys like usual, which seems like it would make your day go a little faster because you got help, but of course you're showing them stuff on the computer and all that stuff. And by the time you're digging into all that and showing them how to add products and write credits and all that stuff, it ends up, adding an hour or so to the day. But yeah, they've been pulling one guy. I'll send another one right with me. I just got done training one guy. I think they said they got another guy for me starting in a week or two. So, but then of course you get paid for training them as well. So nice little chunk of change when they're all done. So not complaining. But one of the big things, though, actually the biggest thing that kind of held me up for all the month of November and into December, for being making videos was my phone. The day after Halloween or Halloween just stopped working. I have a Galaxy Z Fold 4. I've had it right since it came out. I had it reserved or pre-ordered, whatever you want to say. Had them right, like, even before release day. I think I had it like a week before it was the public release. So this would have been a year and a half-ish after I had it. But we went to Halloween, took some photos, and came home that night. I uploaded a few of them on Facebook. Woke up the next day, my phone was no longer connecting to the Verizon network and no longer connecting to Wi-Fi. I couldn't do anything with it. Couldn't use apps, couldn't go online, couldn't call, couldn't send text, use GPS, nothing. Just completely dead. Like not the battery dead, just the phone not connecting, like just dead to the world, so to speak. Thankfully, Miss Hollywood had ridden to Hollowicked with me, so we could use her phone for GPS to get back. Basically, once I get to the highway, I'm okay, but we were in the middle of Hamtramck. I have no idea where to go to get to the highway. So we used her phone to get back. I do have GPS on my watch, and my watch is still working. So if I was by myself, I would have been all right. But regardless, come back to Grand Rapids, go right to the Verizon store. They have no idea what's wrong. Without going into all too much detail, long story short, it took them a month to get me a replacement phone. I got there on November 1st. To find out what was wrong with it. I didn't have my replacement phone until December 1st. A lot going on in between, but not going to go into all the detail. Other than that, there was one guy that went out of his way to help me there, and nothing against Verizon, but everybody at the store there, besides that one guy, was just kind of like, well, we got to take a look at your phone. We have to try to fix it, and nobody could ever fix it because they kept trying to do that. I lost all the music that I had on it. Thankfully, I'd backed up my photos and phone numbers. I had to drop $150 on an unlocked phone during that time because I had to have a phone for work. So I just bought an unlocked phone off of Amazon so I could just stick my SIM card in it. So that got, like I said, cost me $150. And I got the full replacement insurance, and they just are just dragging their feet, except for that one guy who kept calling every time. He helped me like several times, kept calling to wherever he's got to call. He's like, you've got to get this guy a phone, get him a phone. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll send him one, or we got to look at it. And I mean, he got to this point where he's like, get him a fucking phone. He's got replacement insurance, So, so finally, month later, I finally got it. Shout out to that guy. Unfortunately, I forget what his name was, but he really went out of his way to help me. Finally got my replacement phone. So then I was pretty much ready. I've got all these boxes here that I'm gonna unbox eventually. Not gonna do it now, but I think I got 5 of them. Couple of these I'm not even sure what they are. So they've been sitting here for so long. So I was getting ready to do those, and then my allergies hit me, and I not like sick, like I don't feel sick at the time, but I'll be coughing and sneezing, and I totally lost my voice for like 2 weeks. I could like kind of just be like I'd be at one of my customers get all done, I'm like, can you sign for delivery? It's like literally what my voice sounded like. But yeah, thankfully it's just allergies, so I didn't like feel sick, but yeah, I sounded like I was sick, which is bad because, of course, at this point in time, with COVID going around, every place I walk into, I get people giving me looks, and I probably should have thrown a mask on just to make everybody feel safer. But whatever, I'm over it now. But so yeah, that happened, and then beginning of January. If you haven't noticed, I got new glasses. Also, I'm not going to go into a ton of detail, but took me a month to get these. It was supposed to be, I go in to get my exam. My prescription changed quite a bit, so I wanted to buy new frames. And so I got new frames, obviously new prescription lenses, and I got new sunglass lenses. And got my sunglass lenses right when they came. So it should have been about a week and a half after the exam. And they ended up losing this pair, not this pair, but the glasses. Then they ordered the wrong frames to replace them. Then the right frames came in with the wrong prescription, and then they finally got these. However, they refunded me about $350 for all the times I had to drive out there, because it's not a quick drive. It's across town. And I drove out there like 5 times by the end of it. And so over the course of the time, they refunded not 500, 300, and I think it was about 345 or 350 back to me. So, guess I can't complain there either. So, but that's pretty much what was taking up everything. But during that time, though, that I've been gone, I of course went to Fright Fest and Hollow Wicked. I also went to the Violent J Tales of a Clown show. Saw Fozzie in there as well. But I kicked off that time right before, about a month before Hollow Wicked, actually, exactly a month, where I ended up going to where DC Fago Guy and Megz live. I won't say, because I think they don't ever say where it is. But I drove out to where they live. And there's a bar/video game arcade that's about 5 minutes from them, where one of my favorite Celtic punk bands was playing. They're Flatfoot 56. They're from Chicago. Been a long time fan of them, probably 20 years or so. And they were playing there for free. So I saw that as I saw it listed, I saw it was where they live, where DC and Megz live, and saw it was free at this video game arcade. I'm like, that sounds awesome. So I hit them up. I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to come down for this. You want to go? They're like, yeah, of course. They're like, you can come stay here. So thank you to them. They put me up at their house, and went to the show. It was awesome. That place was super cool. I won't say the name of the place either. Just like, I think they're pretty careful about saying where they're at. So, but so I was headed home the next day. I just went Saturday and came home on Sunday. So Sunday was October 1st, heading home. So then, of course, at the end of the month, we got Hollow Wicked and Fright Fest. Obviously, Fright Fest first, then Hollow Wicked. Fright Fest was absolutely incredible this year. I will say I had more fun at Fright Fest than I did at Hollow Wicked this year. I enjoyed it more. That has never happened before. Fright Fest was so fucking on point this year. Of course, it was the 20th anniversary of the Green Book show. Green Book is my favorite album by them. The show was incredible. The place was packed to the fucking rafters. It had to be 100% sold out. It was at St. Andrews Hall. The place was so packed you couldn't even move, but thankfully at St. Andrews Hall, there's not really a bad place in the venue to see. So still had perfect view. Everything was set up great. Their merch was awesome. You could run downstairs, get through the merch line quick. Everybody got their CDs that were promised, and the show was just incredible. I took some pictures. I'll throw a couple of them up here. The one with Violent J on the screen, of course, they had the screen behind them, and they would have just movies and stuff going on. And then when there was a guest on the song, they would be on that screen. I took the picture of Violent J, and pretty quickly after I posted it to Facebook, I believe it was Chad Karsten, because I'm friends with him on Facebook, saw it, grabbed it, and put it on a article on Fago Lovers. And then I started seeing that picture pop up. People were using it as the thumbnail on YouTube videos if they were reviewing it or talking about it, which is fine. I don't care if they used my picture. I thought it was awesome seeing it make its way around. But I just thought it was really cool. I took that picture and posted it, and then it ended up making its way. I saw it on several YouTube videos, again, which is totally fine. But yeah, that was really cool. And I'm hoping that maybe Twisted putting, Shaggy and Jay didn't cut their verses out or anything, just put them on there and had them on the screen. Maybe it's a bit of an olive branch extended toward the psychopathic camp. But, we'll see if anything happens. But great show. Absolutely incredible. I had such a great time. It was hands down one of the best Twisted shows I've ever seen. It might have been the best Twisted show I've ever seen. And if you missed it, you fucked up. And it was so good. I know they're doing the tour. I don't know if it's right now, or coming up, but they're not coming around here. If they were coming to Grand Rapids, I would go. But if they were coming like within an hour of me, I don't think I would go, because I want to remember this as being Fright Fest. If it was here in Grand Rapids, I just can't miss it, because it would be here. But I want to remember this show as being Fright Fest, so I don't want to like go see it again and then like, okay, wait, was that at that show or what? I want to remember it as Fright Fest. But if you weren't at Fright Fest, I highly recommend that you go to the tour if you can, because it was incredible. So, moving on to Hollow Wicked, just let me say right off the bat, Hollow Wicked was phenomenal. The performance, the show was fucking great, but there was a lot of things that irritated me. Some of it not ICP, but the tickets. I've been to the Masonic Temple, which is a beautiful venue. I've been there numerous times. I've seen Flogging Molly there twice. I saw Clutch there probably 4 or 5 times. I've seen Mastodon there at least once, I think twice. I saw, did I see Bad Religion there? I don't know. But I've been there several times. I've seen ICP before there. That's where they did the Take Me Home show. And every time I've been there, I've been on the floor, right in front of the stage. Not right in front of the stage, but I mean on the floor where you're looking at the stage. I'm always hanging out in the back because I'm old, but not in the seats, right? So I bought floor tickets. So we get there, we get up the ramp. We have a guard that I'm actually going to be talking about here in a minute. But we go up the ramp after he directs us up the ramp. The people up there are like, yeah, your seats are up there. Go grab seats. We're like, no. I'm like, we're on the floor. She's like, nope, that's up there. I'm like, my ticket says floor. And she's like, yeah, that's up there. And I'm like, no, the floor is right there. And she's like, no, that's pit. You have to have pit for that. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? This isn't floor. That's not floor. It should say seating on the ticket. I would have bought pit if it said, like, she's like, no, it's up there. Take it or leave it. I'm like, God damn it. So it's with Miss Hollywood. We go up there. We had fine view. It was fine. That's why I don't want to complain too much. But when I'm at Hollow Wicked, I want to be on the floor. I want to be with the Juggalos. I want to be rocking out, screaming out the fucking lyrics on the fucking floor. I don't want to sit. But that's what we had to do this year. It was fine. Like I said, we had a great view. I got some great pictures. It was fine, but it's not what I wanted. And the tickets were not clear about it. We also never found the merch area. I think I found where the line ended. It was like going upstairs. There was a sign that said merch this way, but everybody was waiting up to go up the stairs, but the sign was pointing over here. So we kind of walked over there. There's nothing there. I'm like, whatever. I don't need any more shirts anyway, but I did see some people walking around with shirts that I probably would have bought. But I'm like, whatever. I don't need any merch. But my biggest complaint, absolute biggest, and they need to make sure that this doesn't happen again. We got in, and they have no more CDs left. That is completely unacceptable. If you buy tickets to go to Hollow Wicked and they say you get a single with it, you should have a single in your fucking hands. So we go walking in, we show our tickets, and they're like, all right, go on through. I'm like, where do we get CDs? And this guy's like, I don't know, keep going. So we get in, there's somebody there, you scan your ticket. We got searched and they scan your ticket. I'm like, where do we get CDs? She's like, oh, I think it's over there. So we go over there. Where do we get CDs? Oh, I think it's this way. So we go over there. Hey, where do we get CDs? Oh, I think it's over by the VIP area. So we go over there. Finally, we hear they're out. We hear people talking about that they're out of CDs. I'm watching people walk around with stacks of them. And I'm like, what the fuck? We finally got like actual verification. There's no more CDs. So if you were one of those people walking around with like 20 fucking CDs, fuck you. That's bullshit. All you're doing is fucking over other juggalos. Not just me, but everybody who didn't get one. And so finally I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm not getting a CD. I'll just have to fucking buy one off of eBay, which I saw people selling them later on eBay for like 100, 150 bucks. Also, fuck you. And so finally we're just walking along and we see the security guard just standing by one of the doorways. Looks like a nice guy. I'm like, all right, let's go ask this guy where we go for our tickets, and so we show him the ticket. He's like, yep, those are right up there. And so while we're talking to him, I'm wearing a zip hoodie with a Hatchet Man on it. And I got a Bullet Club hat pin. And he sees that and he's like, oh, hell yeah, shout out to my fellow wrestling fan. He gives me a too sweet, And I'm like, oh yeah, dude. And we're like, oh, huge fan. We're talking about wrestling for a minute. And then I'm like, hey, do you know where we can get CDs? And he's like, I think they're out of them. But he's like, tell you what. And he reaches in his pocket and he's like, I got one. He's like, I don't need it. He's like, I love ICP, but he's like, I don't collect their stuff. Here. He's like, you guys take it. And he gives it to Miss Hollywood. And she's like, oh, thank you. And I'm just like, that sucks. And he's like, wait, aren't you? And then he like looks at her and he goes, hey, can I see that again real quick? And she's like, sure. And he hands it back to him and he takes it from her and gives it to me. And he's like, hey, I got to watch out for my fellow wrestling fans. He's like, I'm sorry, I thought you guys were a couple. And I'm like, no, we're just friends. And he's like, yeah, you take that. And then Hollywood's like, oh man. And I'm like, no, you gave it to her first. And then she was like, no. She's like, you collect them, you keep it. I was like, all right, cool. So huge shout out to that guy. His name was Mark. I won't say his last name, but I'll throw a picture up with me and him, because a little bit later I was walking back down to get a beer, and he was just standing there. He wasn't busy, and I was like, hey man, I gotta get a picture with you. And I asked him if I could mention him if I did it, because I was planning on doing a full review. And I'm like, do you mind if I mention you and throw the picture up? He goes, not at all. And then he's like, actually, are you on Facebook? And so we added each other on Facebook, and I'm hoping to run into him at like some indie shows or something. But I did tell him about one that I'm going to be talking about here in a minute, but he couldn't make it. But hopefully we'll see him around. So thanks again, Mark. Huge shout out to you for hooking me up, man. That CD's right back here in my collection. So happy to have it. So again, overall, Hallowicked, fucking awesome. I never have any complaints about it. It's still my favorite event of the year, even if I say, Fright Fest took the pennant this year for me for best show, but Hallowicked is still my favorite event of the year. So even when I say Fright Fest kind of outdid it, not saying that Hallowicked wasn't amazing. Hallowicked is always amazing. So had a great time there. So just a couple days after Hallowicked, me and Miss Hollywood and my friend Jordan, as I mentioned, we went to Lansing to see Fozzy, the one and only Fozzy. Me and Jordan don't miss them when they're in town. Jordan's not even a wrestling fan. He knows who Chris Jericho is. He knows he's a wrestler, but he's a fan of the band. I, of course, like to support Chris Jericho and the band, because the band is fucking awesome. And then Miss Hollywood had never seen him before, so I was like, I'm going to buy you a ticket and you're coming with me. And she had a great time. Actually, when we're leaving, she's like, great, now I got another band that if they come to Los Angeles, I got to buy tickets and go. So she had a great time, and I'm glad. But they played at a brand new venue in Lansing, obviously the capital of Michigan. It's only about an hour from me. Apparently, it used to be a gay nightclub, according to a friend of mine that lives in Lansing. And the guy that owned it had been there for years, retired, and just didn't sell it off to anybody. So the venue became available. Some other people swooped in and got it and completely refurbished it and turned it into this fucking brand new venue. I mean, it's not a brand new building. It's in a strip of like office buildings, but it's called the Gray Wall Hall. And I'm going to keep an eye on other bands that are coming there, because that venue was beautiful. All brand new everything, all brand new equipment, brand new stage, brand new bar, brand new everything. Bathrooms are all brand new. It was, like I said, the building wasn't new, but everything was totally refurbished and remodeled, and gorgeous venue. And when we went to see this Fozzy show, it was only like the third or fourth month they were open, so everything was still just brand new, top notch, awesome venue. So we went to that. And I did bring my phone, the one that had stopped working, to take some pictures. But while it was there, then I took a few pictures and then it stopped. It wouldn't turn on anymore. Like I would open it up and the screen wouldn't even come on anymore. So I ended up not only got a couple pictures in there, so I don't really have anything to throw up for that. But while we were at that show, this guy comes up to me and Jordan, and he's like, "Hey, are you guys wrestling fans?" Which is kind of an odd question, because I was wearing a Finn Balor shirt. But anyway, I'm like, yeah, I am. And he's like, hey, I work for a local independent company. We're doing a show. He's like, it's right around the corner. He's like, it was a couple weeks away. He's like, it's on a Saturday, and it was also during the afternoon. It was like at 3 in the afternoon, which is like weird. But he's like, here, maybe you can come. And he hands me the flyer, and he's got fucking Sabu on there. And I'm like, holy shit, you got Sabu coming? And he's like, I do. He's like, he says he's gonna be there. He's like, he has fucked me over once before, but he's promised me he's gonna be there. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'll fucking definitely come. So the day came. Me and my friend April ended up going, and she's not even a big wrestling fan, but she's like, oh, I'll go with you. And so she had fun. Did the meet and greet with Sabu. I actually ended up like going downstairs to use the bathroom, and he was just hanging out down in the little lobby. He's just playing on his phone. And as I was walking by, I was like, hey, Sabu. And he's like, oh, hey, what's up, man? And then, but I did the meet and greet with him later. And I had him sign this, and I do have a picture with him. I'll throw that up as well, but let me show this quick. This is a shirt that Jeremy from Furniture City Graphics made for me. And so obviously, as you can see, I had him sign that. And then I had him make me another one of these, but I had him make it on a long sleeve, because I was like, well, now that I got this signed, I'm not going to wear it. So I am actually going to throw this in a jersey or t-shirt frame or something and hang it up, but I just haven't got around to doing that yet. But so, of course, one and only Sabu, the human highlight reel, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I'll throw that picture up with meeting him. I have met him before. He's super cool, but I've met him like 3 or 4 times now. Super cool. He obviously kind of staying in character. He doesn't talk much, but so he was looking at that shirt and he's like, "That's awesome, man. Where did you get that?" And I just said my friend made it for me. He's like, "Oh, that's cool, man." And so yeah, he was excited to see that, and just a great guy. So but then basically the last thing I did during this time was me and Crazy McCormick on, I think it was December 15th, I think Friday, December 15th, we went to the Violent J Tales of a Clown, uh, essentially spoken word show, but it was at a comedy club at One Night Stands in Waterford Township, Michigan. So I think it was like $35. Me and him, me and Crazy made the trip out there. It was just like 2 hours. And it was like Violent J, basically just storytelling show. Some of the stories he told were ones he'd already talked about on when they did on the streaming thing during the pandemic. But hear him retelling. He was throwing some new stuff in. Some of the stories he hadn't told before. He told a more elaborate version of when they were in WCW and WWF. He told about like when they Vampiro pounded on the fucking interview booth while Benoit was in there with me and Gino Curlin, and then they ran away and left Jay standing there. And then he talked about when Shaggy shoved him out of their dressing room when they were filming Goldberg's entrance, like walking through the back. They were right there. I think it was, he said it was Shaggy. They were getting near, and Shaggy just grabbed him and threw him out, so fucking Goldberg walked right in front of him. I mean, hit him, and God, that was funny as hell. He told this really interesting story about when the Red Wings won the Stanley Cup. So there's basically like a huge celebration going on in downtown Detroit, and they got in a van and drove down to, they were just in a stream of traffic on Woodward, and so Shaggy and Jay got out and got on top of the van and basically started wrestling. And they said like a helicopter flew over and put a spotlight on them, and then saw that they were just not actually fighting, so they just flew off, But he's like, there was just thousands of people everywhere, like not rioting, but partying and everything. And yeah, it was really cool. The homie Flin Tose filmed the whole show and put it up on his YouTube. I will link that in there if you want to check it out. But it was definitely worth it. And then the day of that, earlier in the day, I went and got my Bray Wyatt memorial tattoo, so to speak. I'm not going to be able to get this at a very good angle, but as you can see, it's the Death's Head Hawk Moth logo, and then I had him write "Run," and I might have him add maybe something too, like just like in memory of Bray Wyatt, but I just went with this for right now. I did get it touched up, got the red touched up, but the guy that did it, he still wants me to come back because he wants to go over some more of the black too. But so got that, and then the guy that did that, Tom, his name is, I also have a appointment set with him for March 16th, the day before St. Patrick's Day. On my forearm here, that is currently blank, I'm going to be getting the Finn Balor X logo, the purple X logo, and I'm going to get the one that's on the shirt. That's like the line drawing. So I'm going to have him do that, and then I'm going to have him put a small shamrock, right, kind of like where the X comes down. I'm going to have him put a shamrock right in the middle, right above the dark there. So I'm going to have that on appropriately enough the day before St. Patrick's Day. I myself am of Irish heritage, and of course Finn Balor is from Ireland, so I figure that'll be good. And then I'll be going to my local pub, Quinn and Tui's, the next day to spend the day for St. Patrick's Day. So I figure that'll be kind of cool to have a nice new tattoo. And so that's what I got scheduled. But yeah, that's about it. So sorry I've been gone for so long. If anybody cared, I don't know. But hopefully you didn't forget about me. I will be getting to these packages in the next a few weeks. I'll do like a couple at a time. And then I do have Monoxide's Chain Smoker 2 reserved, so obviously pre-ordered, so that will be coming towards the end of the month, I believe. So we'll do an unboxing of that as well. So yeah, so I've just been kind of rambling here. If you made it all the way through to the end, I really appreciate it, and I'll try to get back at this a little bit more often. And I know I'll still be busy with the gym and everything, but try to get a little bit more up than I have been. So that's about it. So as always, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting. This is Echoside Fiend, and I will catch you in the next one. Too sweet.